Interview.
Borderlands is this crazy kind of over-the-top action game. It's a blending shooter, it's blending role-playing. Our big bet at the beginning was to see if we can take those compelling elements of a role-playing game like growth and choice and discovery, loot, skills, leveling up, and layer them on top of a shooter. There's a lot of inspirations behind Borderlands. I mean, you can't look at the game and not think about Mad Max, right? There's clearly a Road Warrior vibe to this too, but there's also kind of an Old West vibe, even like Firefly, right? There's a lot of influences that have come into play. It is kind of a desolate place. It does kind of feel like Mad Max, but it wasn't created that way through some kind of nuclear holocaust. This world got this way through neglect and just desolation, and it falls into disrepair. And it creates kind of this gritty atmosphere, which is another reason why I'm so thankful for the art style that these guys came up with, because this place is a nasty place. It's violent, it's dirty, it's gritty, but the art style also makes it fun and beautiful at the same time. So it's really cool to be able to spend time there in Pandora, in the Borderlands. And you can feel those influences. There's obviously some influences in the gameplay too. Like at its core, it's a shooter. It'll feel very natural with the controller in your hand or with the mouse and keyboard. It feels like a shooter. There's also the role-playing game element too, and you can feel the influences from things like Diablo and World of Warcraft dropping in on top. And we're not afraid of the influences. The game is already doing so much that's original that we're comfortable just embracing those influences. And you know, if you see a piece of loot on the ground and it's green and you've played World of Warcraft, you know what that means if it's got that green name to it, and that's okay. And if you've played Call of Duty and you know that left trigger is look down the sights, that's cool. Like, we embrace those influences because they help us have a more comfortable, more accessible, and more fun game experience. We developed a procedural system for developing weapons. We actually crafted an AI to create the guns for us. And man, it was a big effort, and it took a lot more invention and a lot more trial and error and a lot more discovery than we expected going into it, but we felt like we had to because of the promise we wanted to make to ourselves and to our customers about this game. Remember, growth, I want better and better guns. Choice, I want guns that are kind of about the same level, but there's a trade-off between them. Discovery, I want to be surprised. I want something that I didn't imagine that appears, right? So we decided that what we needed to do was create an AI that can craft the guns for us. We call it the Gear Builder system, and it's an actual artificial intelligence system that procedurally generates the weapons, and we fed it all these different manufacturers that we came up with. The manufacturers have different traits and different styles, all the different materials that weapons can be made out of, from wood to plastic to composites, tons of different materials that the weapons can be made out of, the different classes of weapons. What's the difference between a shotgun and a sniper rifle, or an assault rifle and a submachine gun? What are all these differences? How do these classes differentiate themselves? And then you think of all the different components in the classes. We can build a system that just around the barrel of a gun. How long the barrel is defines how accurate it is, perhaps. How large it is defines the caliber of the ammunition, how much punch it might have, what muzzle velocity, and how large that shell will be when it hits you. And that's just a barrel. You know, you're talking about all the different loading types and the different sighting things. So we built all this stuff and we fed it into the system, we fed it into the AI, and it produced millions of guns for us. The number doesn't matter. What matters is that we built a system that enabled us to have some choice and some discovery and some growth with our character. And this is a big deal. There's a number of different classes in the game, and whether you're playing alone or with friends, they're a lot of fun. The different classes when playing alone give you some different capabilities that are fun for different play styles. When playing with friends, the different classes and the spec for each class will complement each other so that you can have people working together in a team. The common class is the soldier class. He is the grunt. The soldier has the ability to deploy a shield turret. It's both a shield and a turret, so you can use it for defense or for offense, so it's pretty versatile. But there's also some specific specs for the soldier. For example, he can become infantry, which is more about him doing damage and using the different weapons. But there's also a medic spec, which is about how he heals his friends or how he heals himself. Let's see, to go a little quicker, we've got a hunter class. The hunter is the master sniper. He also has a pet, a bloodwing. It's like a falcon. He can throw it at his enemies, they'll tear them apart. There's a siren class. She is this beautiful kind of mysterious creature. She can do this thing called a phase walk, when she phase walks, the enemies can't see her, and she can move very quickly. It's kind of like when Frodo puts on the ring. But unlike Frodo, when she goes into it or comes out of it, she can blast nearby enemies in a shockwave. There's also a Berserker class. He's the guy we actually added to the game as we realized how good this was getting. And the Berserker class, he can actually be a tank, or he can be a bruiser, a brawler, and the different specs kind of balanced him out. And anyway, these characters all work together or alone. They're a lot of fun. When you pick your character class and you develop that character, it's yours, and your character is persistent. And this is really important because when I'm playing alone for a while, let's say I play halfway through the game and I join a friend, my character can come with me online and I can get new stuff and develop my character even more. And this is really cool because then when I go back to my own game, I'm more powerful. My character is mine and he's persistent, and this is a really big deal. When we made the decision to go over the top with the art style, to actually bring forward our concepts, that decision brought with it all the attitude and all the style and all the character and even the humor of that concept art, and it liberated the game. It made the game fun, and there's stuff all through the game, whether you're talking about some of the characters that make us laugh, or even some of even the game-isms, right? Like when I play World of Warcraft, I'll fight an elite. In Borderlands, you'll fight a badass, you know? And this kind of stuff just permeates the game, and it just makes it fun. And you know what? Video games are supposed to be fun, so it's kind of fun to be able to be in a space where we can be liberated and just go nuts with it. Borderlands is coming to the Xbox 360, the PlayStation 3, and the Windows PC, and it'll be here in October of 2009, and we can't wait.